Noah. You set up an alarm?
Yes.
Oh.
We are Tiffany and Steve, a photographer and a musician traveling the country full-time in our Winnebago View while raising a toddler. Join us as we create, adventure, and parent, all from our home on wheels.
So here we are in Silverton, and although an original town, a lot of it was renovated and rebuilt for some films that got made in the 50s starring Jimmy Stewart and Marilyn Monroe. That's pretty cool.
We really loved exploring Silverton. So many of these little Colorado mountain towns have their own unique histories and quirks, but Silverton was one of those places where you feel you've truly stepped back in time. A lot of these buildings have been around since they were originally constructed in the late 1800s, and though most have been restored, it's been preserved so well that you really can't help but imagine what daily life must have been like for the people who lived here back then.
Mr. Energy, the boy. Sensing a 3-hour nap.
We stopped back at our campsite so Noah could take a nap. We had some afternoon coffee and then headed down into Ouray for the hot springs. This was the first time I'd ever experienced hot springs that were laid out like this. The pools are free for kids 4 and under and $21 for adults 18 and up, and each pool has a different temperature, so you can choose from as low as 78 degrees to as high as 106 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, this was truly one of the scariest drives I've ever done in my entire life. This video was actually the 3rd time we did it, but the first time was when we first pulled into Ouray and I was in the CRV with Caitlin Newstate. It was just the 2 of us and we were heading up to scout for a campsite. We did that drive right before the sun went down, and by the time we found a spot and rejoined with Steve and Howard in the RVs, it was completely dark. We were all terrified. I took Noah in the CRV with me and Caitlin, and the guys drove the RVs. As you can see, there are no guardrails whatsoever, there are no streetlights, and the lanes are very narrow with absolutely no room for error on either side. And there are drop-offs that plummet about 500 feet or more, so you really have to go slow. There are actually around 40 accidents and 7 fatalities every year, so yes, if you plan on trying this route, definitely be careful. Let me know in the comments if you'd ever do this drive or if you've done scarier. In reality, the scariest, most dangerous part of the $1 Million Highway just outside Ouray lasts about 20 minutes. And you know you're home free when you see this angular-looking tunnel. Me and Caitlin decided to call it the Tunnel of Hope.
We have to leave this beautiful spot because it's about to rain for the next 2 days, and this gravel is probably just going to turn into a sinkhole. We're actually going to drive like an hour and a half to Telluride now. Caitlin and Howard found a really beautiful spot that hopefully there are sites free, and it's a Monday, so there's a good chance. And then we'll be parking up in Telluride for the next few days. Bye, campsite with the beautiful views.
Bye-bye. It's been fun. It's been good to us.
Bye, morning coffee stream. That's been our home for the last few days. Isn't that crazy? So with all this off-grid camping we've been doing, it's been a perfect opportunity for us to put our new Enduro Power lithium battery to the test. We haven't really gone into a lot of detail about these batteries, but we had 2 lead batteries. They were extremely heavy. They didn't last more than maybe 5 hours. When we had to go through the night without any hookups, we were having to wake up at like 4 in the morning to start the engine, run the generator, try to get some juice back into the battery so we could make it through. We upgraded to 1 Enduro Power lithium battery, and already, like, the runtime is at least 5 times longer. One of these batteries is 60 pounds lighter than 2 of the other batteries, and it takes up so little space. These batteries are a no-brainer. All we want now is to get another one. The other thing that we love is that they have an app, the Victron app, that allows you to monitor how much power your battery is using, how much juice is left, how fast it's charging, if you have solar connected, if you have your generator running, you have your engine running, and the alternator charges it very quickly. So we just keep an eye on this app here, and it tells us everything we need to know. Because we're going to be driving for the next couple hours, this is going to shoot right up. We'll probably be close to 100% by the time we get to Telluride.
This is another famous drive called Last Dollar Road, and it's probably one of the most magical drives I've ever done stateside. It reminded me so much of the west coast of Ireland, I couldn't believe it.
We're in Telluride. It's your first time in Telluride, baby. Wow. I always think, like, if this was a restaurant, if we were just ordered this at a restaurant and had this view, what would it have cost?
Later that day, we decided to adventure out to Bridal Veil Falls, which sits just off Black Bear Pass above Telluride. It was recommended to us not to attempt it in the CRV because of the huge rocks and steep, tight switchbacks, but we decided to proceed with caution. I had actually driven Black Bear Pass years ago with a group of my friends, and we were in a 4-wheel drive vehicle. We did it in the snow and wound up getting stuck, and it was one of the scariest things that's ever happened to me. We actually had to lay tracks down and inch forward over a period of like 2 hours to make sure that we didn't slide over a cliff. Needless to say, doing Black Bear Pass in the summer is definitely less stressful.
Hello! Hi! Wow! So we just rode all the way up to Bridal Veil Falls, which is above Telluride, and we did it in Howard and Caitlin's Honda CRV.
Yeah.
Barely bottomed out on the hitch like 1 or 2 times, but it was nothing serious.
Wow.
Colorado. So, it's our 2-year anniversary.
Wow. It's been a long time since we've been without Noah.
It's been a long time. So basically, our sweet, sweet friends, Howard and Caitlin, are babysitting Noah for us for a few hours. They have let us borrow their car. We're driving down to Telluride and we're just gonna celebrate this evening sans baby. I think the last time we were on a date was from our video where we talked about being on a date.
That's true.
That's the last time we were alone, like without
Every
Noah.
other date we've been on has been with him.
And we love him so much.
Yeah, of course.
But we have got to tend to our relationship sometimes.
We gotta take time for each other and for ourselves, and any young parent or new parent out there, any parents really out there, understand.
Oh yeah.
I didn't tell you
A
that.
night in Telluride. Woohoo!
I know.
That's really good. We are so sad to be saying goodbye to this view.
It's served us well for this past week. It's been amazing. What a wonderful, like,
been our
temporary
home.
living situation.
We're living here. Living here.
Camping.
Yeah,
I mean,
camping.
camping.
We've been camping.
Temporarily camping here.
Yes.
And it's been amazing. So, but there are more adventures to be had, more views to be sought,
More views to be held.
more
beheld.
views to be
Behold.
hold.
All right, cut.